Okay, thank you all for joining us on our webinar series. This is actually webinar number 6. We're tracking back to the beginning, so we're starting with lesson 1. I know we're doing it backwards, but we're compiling around 12 different webinars that's going to pretty much cover everything you need to know about digital marketing. So if you're getting started and you want to open your own agency, if you recently joined a company and would like to become a chief marketing officer, or if you simply want to market your own business, this is actually a good course for you. All you need to do is just follow our sequences, watch our videos. Everything we do, we record, we make it available to you after the webinar, so you have access to the slides, and you will also have access to this video with all the grammar mistakes and the hiccups that I make. So with that, we can let's get started. First and foremost, I just would like to invite you to join us on Twitter. Our channels are listed on this slide. So we have our Facebook. We're pretty active on there. We have our Twitter channel, Vbout.com. Somebody randomly who is not active, unfortunately, have Vbout. We're working on getting that. And of course, if you join us on our website, we have a great weekly newsletter that we send out. So if you'd like to join us there, we'll send you updates and notifications on new slides, new events, and also new webinars. Okay, so just a little bit about the team. My name is Richard. I'm the founder and CEO of Vbout.com. A little about me, I've been in marketing and web development for quite some time, probably about 8 years now. We started as an agency providing marketing services, so we worked with a lot of businesses setting up their online presence, working on their marketing strategy. And after that, we shifted to becoming a software company that builds technology for marketing. So email, social media, all that stuff that happens in the background that tracks, analyze, and automate. We've built the company or the software that does it. So that's where Vbout.com was founded. It's a full marketing suite that allows you to capture leads, nurture them, and also acquire them and grow your bottom line and your sales. If you would like a demo, visit our website. We'll be happy to give you a private tour. And also, you can sign up for free. We have a free package for everybody. When I'm not building my startup, I'm very passionate about community building. So we have a community of about 5 to close to 6,000 actually members in New York City. We do monthly physical meetups, so we meet in a big room. We get some pizza. We share a topic. We have a speaker. We have a lot of fun. So if anybody's in New York, please join us. We'd love to have you. It's a great opportunity to network and getting to meet you on a personal level. We also have on the team, I mean, this is only 3 of us, but we have a lot more that happens. So Audrey Dodson, who is also on the line with us, and she's moderating any questions. Please feel free to put them in the chat box. She's our marketing director. We have George, who's our content marketing strategist, and he is also with us on the call right now. And we have, of course, our graphics who help with the slides and the photos together. We have other people who do the research and assist. So it's a combination of about 8 people that put these slides for you. So it's a lot of work. So definitely follow us. Again, these are the channels on the bottom of the screen. We'll send you updates whenever they are ready or new announcements. All right, so let's jump right into it. This is our table of content for the day. So we have a lot to cover. It's going to be packed about 45 minutes, and then we'll open the actual Q&As for anybody who has questions. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll give you some answers. All right, so a quick intro. We're going to be discussing planning, budgeting, channels, also content strategy, of course analytics for your digital marketing plan. And for each of those, we're going to jump into a little more depth on strategies, tactics, how you should do it, and some implementation ideas. Okay. All right, so a quick intro into digital marketing behavior. 91% of consumers check their email daily. So, you know, I'm not sure how many of you are here, but most of you probably have joined us either through an email chain that we sent out or have received our email reminder about this this webinar. So we do a lot of email activity, and we've seen a lot of results every time where we send out a mass campaign. So email is definitely growing. It's not dying. If anybody tells you that, it's a myth. And so 66% of consumers have made a purchase online after an email marketing activity. So tracking ROI from email is super important, and we do that at Vbout. So when we send out an email, I actually track a couple of different metrics thereon to see how many people actually subscribe to our blog, how many people sign up. So these type of metrics and things to track through email are important. 70% of individuals in B2B and B2C do research online before making a buying decision. So that tells you that your content and your efforts should be online, because you have 70% of people searching for you on the net. Digital marketing spend is increasing year by year. It's not going anywhere. People are spending billions and billions of dollars, and I think by the end of 2017 the spend is going to be near $70 billion in the US alone on digital marketing. So the market is fast growing exponentially. This is a quick chart. They interviewed 295 global leader company who who do marketing properly, and they're mainly headquartered in North America. So obviously, trends and tactics might be different between for different cultures and different countries. But however, the general idea and implementation still stays the same. So you can see as we start from email marketing, 59% of companies are actually increasing their spend on email, definitely on social media, online advertising. And as we go down on through this chart, you will see the green bar to the right. These are the companies who said they are increasing their spending, and the red bar to the left. These are the companies who are decreasing their spending, so they're spending less. So toward the bottom, we start touching upon direct mail. So you can see, it starts getting higher. So 11.5% more are ditching direct mail, trade shows, print advertising. If you're talking about billboards and banners, if you're talking about those flyers that get sent to you or whatever you stumble upon at events, more and more companies are leaving that channel of distribution and advertising. So this chart is a good illustration that tells you how actually companies are spending their money, and they're planning to increase their spend on a yearly basis. So let's talk quickly about digital versus traditional marketing. So traditional marketing, you know it as flyers. You have somebody in the corner of on the street giving you a paper with some graphics on it to go to the store or whatever. Billboards, ads on buses, TV, radio. I would say TV and radio are trying to get smarter. They're moving their activity online. So there's quite some bridge there. They're realizing that the revenue are decreasing, so they're making them smarter. And I might have forgotten a couple, but these are the traditional marketing. Maybe cold sales calling, webinars. I'm sorry, trade shows. Definitely not webinars and things like that. So these are traditional marketing. And you have the digital marketing. If you're not familiar with it and you're really fresh starting out, we're referring to your online activity. What drives people to find you online through a complex infrastructure of websites. So you have thousands and thousands, actually millions, and close to, I'm not sure how many sites, like 1 billion website web pages online. So getting found through all this complex infrastructure is definitely a challenge. Thus, the creation of digital marketing. So things like optimizing your SEO, search engine optimization, using PPC, paid ads, so people can find you specifically through targeted keywords. Social media, so reaching a particular audience on a particular channel. Understanding the buyer's journey, so how do they think when they come online? They're looking for a product, they search for it on Google, they find results, They might be interested in submitting their email, asking a question. Then maybe they would like a follow-up from you. Maybe they need a nurture or not. So this kind of sequence is called the buyer's journey. I kind of touch up on it in a second. So understanding that and designing it around your product is super important. And of course, all this data will help you craft so much information for you to convert online and get more purchases or signups or whatever is your goal. All right, so the first part we'll discuss is budgeting. 80% of corporations plan to increase the digital spend budget in the next 12 to 18 months. We spoke about that. So, if you have any traditional, if you're spending money on traditional marketing, it's probably time to consider moving some of that budget to digital marketing. And if you're spending more and more, you're not doing anything wrong. It all depends on the results you're seeing. Maybe you're not implementing it properly, but everybody's spending more and more on a yearly basis. We've been doing it increasingly at Vbout. The part of your budget for online activities, so figuring out the channels you're going to be spending on, meaning if you're going to spend on content, on social media, on mobile, it all depends on your goals. So, what is your target market? What is your industry you're going after? Are they mainly on social media? I mean, nobody's only on social media. Nobody's only reading content. But, figuring out the channels you would like to focus on, because everybody has a budget, might help you with your budgeting. And understanding the customer behavior to know the activity, the result in repeat business is important. So this is where the customer persona comes into play. We speak about customer persona every single time because I think it's the most important aspect of digital marketing. You start there and then you can branch out. And I want to give a quick example. Actually, yesterday I was walking around the park and I see the ice cream truck, and I see a lot of people, around that truck, standing in line, mothers with their kids mainly. I go to another park and I see the same exact scene. So just, as a quick example, it seems, just the example of the ice cream truck, you have somebody who understands exactly where his clients are. He understands their needs. He knows that, all right, it's hot. They're out there playing. So he plays the music for the kids to hear it and asks their mom to buy them ice cream. So the kid cries. She's forced to bring them to buy from that vendor. So this cycle, it's exactly the same online. Understanding who is your persona, the person you're trying to go after, whether they're, in our case, we're going after digital marketers, people who are doing marketing on multiple channels like Facebook, email, also doing lead nurture and automation. Understanding who they are as a person, what are their goals as an individual, professionally and personally, who are the competition, and researching products like ours and how they're targeting their consumers as well. So going through this, the build out of your customer persona helps you start and plan your budgeting. Because for us, knowing, for instance, that the people we're targeting are on community sites, they also are on professional social media sites like LinkedIn, helps us allocate certain resources additionally to community building, LinkedIn ads and things like that. And that's just a quick example. So again, coming up with your customer persona is the first thing you need to do. Who are you going after? And I think we have a template we shared with you in the past on customer persona. If you've missed it, we'll get you that template. So there's a lot of tools out there that let you start with the research on your customer persona and where they aggregate. Obviously, looking at your competitors who've done it in the past is definitely a huge plus. It's gonna help you cut, save some time, because if you tell me you're doing something for the first time and you're starting a business nobody's done it in the past, I'm probably gonna laugh at you, and most people will know that. Anything you're doing, somebody else is doing it somewhere else. So looking at other success stories, looking how they invested their money to actually penetrate the market, it's okay. It's fine. You know, probably 80% of the web is a copy-paste situation where you add your own hint of personality to it. So it's not bad to actually look at your competitors, follow some of their patterns that succeeded, and of course, you know, be innovative where you can. You can send out surveys to also see where your clients are. So we can use LinkedIn groups for that. You can use certain channels like Quora with a link to survey asking people, for instance, to tell you, you know, I don't know, how much more time you spend on Facebook versus Twitter versus LinkedIn. So that could be a questionnaire. So surveys is a good way also to figure out where your customer personas are. So the more time you spend on online research, I mean, the more time customers spend online buying and researching, the more resources you should invest online. So, you know, obviously, nobody's just gonna go in and say, all right, I want to buy a computer. The first computer they search result that comes up from Google, they're gonna purchase it. A lot of people are educated enough to actually understand that there's a process. They look multiple vendors. They see pricing to make sure they're not getting ripped off. And there's actually a lot of tools online that help these people make the right decision. So because of that and the wealth of data and people using that data to make a purchase, you have to allocate resources to create your own content online. Now at the end also paying attention to vanity metrics versus real metrics. So getting engagement on social media is not enough to actually convert into purchases. It could be a mechanism, it could be this bus that's going to get you there somehow, but being able to measure engagement versus conversion is something that you need to also consider. This is why you need to invest a little bit in analytics that's most of the time is automated once you set it up to kind of measure across the board how people are engaging, you know, how your money, how much conversion you're having, and you can actually allocate values to it, which comes back to budgeting. So this is another chart that shows you how digital marketing spend is increasing. You know, social media, but from 2011 to 2016, I mean, it's increased a lot from 1,500 to almost 5,000. Same with email marketing. And I would say, you know, social media might include both organic and paid reach, because this has changed a lot over the course of the years. Display ads and SEO. So every single aspect of these online efforts have been increasing in spend, and is going to continue like that. So again, you know, it's figuring out how much you're going to spend on your social media. First, you're figuring out your channels that you're going to be going after. Social media, email, mobile, display, and search marketing. Allocate a budget for each of those on a monthly basis and a yearly basis so you can stretch it out. And this is how most company operates anyway. And just create a basic sheet that kind of breaks it down to you on a month-to-month basis. And also, you know, figuring out every month how much return on your investment you have gotten is helpful. So determining the best platform to achieve your goals and maximize your ROI. You know, if you test it on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and you realize that Twitter is the #1 driving channel for your conversion, then great. You probably should invest more in Twitter. Also, you know, being able to use the channel that helps you segment more and target better. Is effective. So, for instance, targeting on Facebook is much more effective than targeting on LinkedIn, in a sense where they get really in depth to a lot more than just demographics and title of the company. They get down to interest, personal interest, and things like that. So, you know, figuring out the channels and which one works better for you on the targeting side of things. So you're in a very competitive. If you're in a very competitive space, You may need sites and spaces that are less competitive to engage your target. This is a little tricky, but finding out where people aggregate that your competitors are not quite active on might be helpful. For instance, in our space, it's a very crowded space, so instead of investing so much money on paid ads, which we still do, we're actually investing a lot in education. So our efforts are really around educating our consumers how to become marketers, how to market better. So we realize in our competitive market, we have some people doing it. We've seen how they did it and how they succeeded. And we're actually implementing the same tactics, which is education, but we're doing it more in depth. So this is the same applies to everybody. When it comes to budgeting, if you're going to invest in online, figure out what works for you. And if you're in a very competitive market, focus on one or two things that really drives you traffic and engagement. This is a quick template that shows you, or as a sample, we've created a couple of them. We can share them with you. So this tells you, the breakdown on your digital spend on a monthly basis and a yearly basis, and you can add an ROI column next to each month, so you can see your digital spend month by month and how much money you're making on each. All right, so the planning and budgeting really come hand in hand. What are you trying to achieve? Who are you trying to serve? And what value you are offering? So, everybody wants sales, everybody knows it. The ultimate purpose of marketing is two things. One of them is driving brand awareness. And because brand awareness drives sales, obviously the ultimate result is driving more sales. So who are you selling to? What is the problem you're trying to solve? Everybody has a product that solves a particular niche problem. Figuring out these different alleys is part of your planning. So once you've figured out your budgeting, all right, these are your customer personas. You're going to figure out your goals, meaning, all right, now my plan is to increase my signups to my blog by 1,000 subscribers in 3 months. And my plan is to convert these 1,000 subscribers, or at least a percentage of them, maybe 20% of those into free users, and out of the free users I would like to probably get about 5% into paying users. So this could be like a goal or a micro goal that you're trying to achieve, and you can follow your planning accordingly. So you would budget your social media spend based on that, your PPC spend based on that, investing in landing pages and other things which we'll touch upon in a second as well. All right, so content marketing strategy, which is a huge thing that you've been hearing a lot, and a lot of people want to do it. I think a lot of companies don't do it right. We made mistakes in the past until we realized exactly which are the content that engage our clients and which are the things that people look for. Because it's a very crowded market, we need to stand out. So identifying your target audience, writing stories. So when you write content, and actually we've covered last webinar, in our last webinar on content strategies and content marketing generally. So if you missed that, you should definitely watch on our video section. But identifying your target audience, I'm going to say that probably like 1,000 times this webinar. Telling them a story, because as a writer, you're a storyteller, and you're telling them, you're trying to get them interested in the beginning of your content, you're trying to get them engaged throughout, and you want to hook them at the end of the content that you are the best in what you do. You never use your content or blogging or blogs you developed or infographics to sell things. It should be a mechanism for you to establish credibility more than anything else, and establish a trusted relationship with your end consumers, because once people trust you, they know that you know your stuff. And most of you starting your own business or running your own companies, you know a lot about your product, you know a lot about your business, you have a wealth of information to share, but people don't know that. So obviously before you sell them anything or you push a product, make sure that they know that you know your stuff. So once they buy into you, they will buy into the product much faster. All right, sorry, I'm going to have to mute. Okay. So this is a quick chart that illustrates content strategy. And if anybody here does not know a content strategy, please share it with us. Share it with us in the comment section. And yes, we will be sharing the slides after the presentation. We'll make a video and make it available to you as well. All right. So with this cycle here, the first part is creating, editing, and managing. So this is where the blogging, collaboration, forming your team workflow, and content management starts. Then you have aggregating, curating, and optimizing, where you use A/B testing, content targeting, and content aggregation. It goes through to promoting and conversing. So this is how you can actually see how your content or blogs are performing. Meaning, you got to distribute your content somewhere so people see it. If you simply write something and you put it on your blog, people might not find you. And no matter how much time and money you invested in it, you're not gonna just get found randomly. At least in the beginning, before you establish SEO assets. So sharing on social media and creating distribution channel is critical. And you use those to tell people to come to you and to to actually read your content and engage with it and give you feedback and so on. And the last part of the cycle, which is analytics. So having this engagement metrics that tracks how much people are engaging with your content, how much they're sharing it, how much from your blog is triggering conversion, and all that is part of your analytics. So you end your cycle with measuring, so you're not just writing up all this content blindly, right? So this is the actual graph for it. So the stages are listening, analyzing, and optimizing, which is the three parts as well, if I summarize this whole thing. So part of content strategy is not only blogging, it's also the content on your website. A lot of people underestimate the power of words and the impact it might have on your conversion. So when we started Vbout, it was only 2 of us and we were overwhelmed. So all the content on our website was written by me. And as you can tell, I'm not a native English speaker. So I made mistakes in forming the words. I was actually translating from French and other languages or whatever. So for me, it's, we saw the results weren't that great. And as soon as we, engaged our marketing, chief marketing officer, and Audrey joined the team, she did a phenomenal job in transforming the words and thinking deeply into the consumers coming to the website. What are they looking to read? What is their interest? How are we going to capture their 7-second attention time that they give us? When somebody lands your site, you have 7 seconds, even less, to capture their attention. The sequences of information that needs to flow through their mind before they take the next action. So changing the word, the way they are formed, also the flow of information on your site is super important. And of course, having this easy navigation structure on your site where people find exactly what they're looking for. When somebody comes to your site, if you're selling a product, the first thing is knowing what you sell. The second thing is seeing the product, maybe reading some reviews and information about it, and of course the pricing, and then moving forward with the purchase, right? So this sequence needs to be very easy to navigate through, because you will have higher drop-off rate if you do not. Using professional photography and layouts on your website, meaning you can use stock photos, you can use your own photos, but either way, just make the photos professional and include people in your photography. We've realized more and more we insert photos of ourselves or our team, or even photos of other people in our in our assets. People are engaging more with it. People like it more. They actually see somebody they relate to. They see another human being. They see an emotion in their faces. So that helps you in your overall content result. So using professional imagery and of course layouts having your content displayed across the site very properly, and include call to action buttons that people know they need to click to go to the next section or the next thing you want them to go to. If you have a page that have content call to action button on the top of the page, and as you scroll down there's no more call to actions, that's going to be problematic because people might not, they don't know your website as much as you do, so you might be losing their interest down the road. And if you see on our homepage on Vbout, we actually did the same, where every fold on the page, mainly on the homepage, has a call to action button. So we make sure we try to capture people's next interest by giving them that option to go somewhere. So the second asset of content strategy is your landing pages. So this is kind of parallel to your website, except they have a different purpose. Landing pages are simply a page that have one purpose, which is either getting people to make a purchase if you're selling a product, or to collect their email address for lead generation purposes. Meaning, if you want somebody to download an ebook, if you want somebody to sign up to a webinar like this one, or you're selling an item, and you don't want to give them options to go anywhere else on the site. You don't want them to go to your About Us section. You don't want them to go to explore other pages. This is what landing pages are for. And creating landing pages is an extremely important part of your customer acquisition cycle, because that's what top of the funnel starts. People are going to come to you through your website or links to pages that you created, and having a well-crafted landing page strategy will help you capture more leads. That we've seen. We measured it with Vbout when we had landing pages that didn't convert. We changed the positioning of the items. We changed the colors of the call to actions. We used professional imagery, and that definitely helped our conversion. So we have a session on that as well. So if you missed our landing page science webinar, we have it on our blog. So hopefully you can catch it. So on your landing pages, there's a couple of things you should touch upon, and I'll go through those quickly. The call to actions, which are the buttons. Okay, if you don't know what call to actions, it's simply that thing that says click here to do this, submit, or whatever. These are call to actions. And you might take those for granted, but there's a science behind it, whether it's the color, whether it's the type of text, or the wording that goes on top of it. And also the form, the length of the form that it follows. So if you have a form that's 15 fields, and you're asking a user 15 different pieces of information, your drop-off rates are going to go up, right? So the shorter you make your forms, the more conversions you're going to have. Also video, using video on your pages can help. Making sure your offer is clear, client testimonials on your page, maybe one or two, definitely helps your landing page overall. This is a quick example. It's cut off, but you can see here you have, for instance, the main header and a clear call to action buttons. We have the logo on the top left, and we have the share icons on the top right. Right, so we don't have any opportunity to go away from this page. So you click on download study, it takes you to the form, and from the form you start the download process. Sip of water. All right, so for channels, obviously identifying your channels is key for your success. And the most important channels, or the most popular channels, are social media, email, search engine marketing, content marketing, and app development. So let's dive deeper into each one of those. So as far as social media, let's focus on the following: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+. You also have Instagram. We didn't put it here, probably we should. You have Pinterest, you have YouTube, you have Snapchat. It's actually on the bottom here. But these are, the channels that you can target, right? Some channels might make more sense for others. Like if you're in fashion, probably Instagram and Pinterest make more sense for you than to be on LinkedIn. If you're in a legal business and you are a lawyer and you have a marketing department, probably LinkedIn could be a better way for you to distribute content and create a community around you. So again, these are the 4 channels the main channels, and then you have the secondary. I personally not too active on Google Plus. I'm not sure when they're going to figure out what Google Plus is. They keep on changing, but it's there. And also researching, the common sites. I think Google let you create a customer persona, and on Google Analytics, you can go in and create a customer engagement and customer interest that tells you the people that search your website or items similar to yours, what are their interests, their age group, and so on. And of course, Facebook provides you with that. So these channels are important for you, and figuring out which ones you're going to invest the most in is helpful. Now, sometimes you don't find direct results. For instance, for us, Facebook is a huge driving traffic. Facebook doesn't convert a lot for us, but it gets us engagement, it gets us more brand awareness. People know about Vbout through social media, through Facebook. So I think Facebook, or for you, knowing that you should be active on all those channels, however, focusing on the ones that get you the most results is good, but don't undermine the actual value of those that don't. So on analytics, which we'll cover at the end of the session, you'll be able to kind of create these reports to see what kind of engagement you're getting from each of the channels you have. So these are some tips to grow your number of followers. First is engaging with your influencers, meaning find some of the people in your industry or your field that have a huge followers, and try to engage with them, whether commenting on some of the stuff they're posting, following them, tagging them, or even approaching them via messaging to see if they can help you or collaborate with you, whether it's paid collaboration or not. Producing content that connects with your target. So if you're posting on social media, on Facebook, and you want to connect with people, don't just be robotic. You might want to put some sort of an emotion in it, because people on Facebook are always looking for stimulation. They want to see something that intrigues them, teaches them something, makes them feel better or worse or whatever. So that kind of feeling should be reflected in your content. Obviously, staying on top of your moderation. If somebody leaves a comment, reply back to them. We get more private messages than we get comments for some reason, so we always reply to those. Twitter has been very lousy in filtering spam through messaging. We do get a lot of spam messaging, unfortunately, but if somebody mentions us, we try to thank them back. So that's the back and forth engagement. You should be consistent, so if you're posting weekly or daily, stay on that frequency, because people will expect it. Don't forget that your posts are short-lived on social media. So the actual lifespan is 6 to 18 minutes. Knowing that, you have a very short window to post, in which case you should post in the optimal times of the day. If you have followed us before, we actually have a post on the best times to post for each social media. It's a blog. It's a blog that we've shared in the past. Recycling content is not bad on social media. So taking an old post, reposting it a couple of months later, that doesn't hurt. If 6 minutes was the life of your content, definitely reposting is not gonna hurt anyone. And of course, look at your analytics and your engagement to help you optimize. All right, jumping to email marketing. So we cover email marketing in depth in other webinars and other sessions. It's probably one of the most, how do you say it? We're investing a lot in our infrastructure and an email marketing tool. So we have a lot to say about it. So I'll go through this quickly. Obviously, you don't want to be spamming people, so don't send too frequently. Also, you might want to send relevant content versus just random content. So, if you're sending weekly posts to teaching people how to do, I don't know, how to cook, or sending them a recipe on a weekly basis, don't all of a sudden start sending them items or posts unrelated to what you're selling. Personalize your content. So there's no reason why you shouldn't include first and last name or first name or whatever inside the actual emails. Sometimes we don't, because we don't collect first name. It's optional on our forms. But when we do, we definitely personalize them. And we have a shortcode manipulation with fallbacks and things that we recently launched, which is great. That helps you kind of take the data people submit and make a better personalized message out of it. Some of the spam compliance is including opt-outs and unsubscribes from your emails. Include your address and your contact info on the bottom of the email. Having a clean list. If somebody unsubscribed, don't send them emails anymore. Make sure that's it, they're gone. Also, on the technical side, making sure you're sending from the proper DNS. So adding your SPF and DKIM, these are technical items. Don't get too confused. But adding those to your domain sender can help you. And anybody using Vbout, we actually walk them through this process and we help them set it up. Now, you should use responsive templates when sending out email campaigns, because if you're not, a lot of people, probably more than 50% of your audience, are on mobile and they're reading your email via their phone. So if you're not responsive to their screen, they're probably not going to see all your content. So that's not good. You should definitely use email automation. If you don't know what email automation, it's a layer that sits on top of your email and let you send follow-up campaigns based on the client behavior. So if somebody comes to your site and watch a video, if that person was on your list before and the system tracked it, maybe you can send them an automated message telling them, thank you for watching our video. Here's another resource that you should take a look at. This capability is called email automation and is extremely powerful in your lead nurture process. So if you never used email automation, definitely start using it. Other people refer to it as autoresponders with a brain. So it's just being able to trigger certain emails based on specific actions. Obviously, looking at analytics, click-through open rate is also important, and using these numbers and these results to optimize your content. Most of your email marketing tools provide you in-depth data. We do track almost everything, including how long people are reading the email. So I can tell you if people are reading the emails or simply opening and deleting them, tracking conversion from email, seeing how many times they open those emails, where they're coming from. I mean, this information is super powerful. So make sure you use the right tool that gives you all this data that you need. So maybe on a Saturday afternoon, you're sitting down, you're looking at your data. If you're, if you don't have a life, that is. All right, just kidding. But if you like data like we do, this is something you need to look for in the tool. All right, so email marketing also, tips for successful campaigns. I might have covered this, but it starts with building a solid email lists. And how do you collect those first emails? This is a challenge for every single business, but it definitely starts by building out your landing pages, which I discussed, creating your pop-ups on the website. As people are browsing, you show them a pop-up message asking them to give you their email in exchange for a good piece of content. And I repeat, for exchange, because nobody's going to just give you their email. If you put a message, hey, we're cute, give us your email, most likely people won't put it unless you were too cute. But building out your landing pages, this is where your assets are going to be, perhaps to download an ebook or download a webinar or a video, and your pop-ups. And you can always start with your current list of friends and family and tell them, hey, we have these pages. We would like to add you to our mailing list. Can you also please share those pages with your friends or your social media channels? Requesting from the people near you doesn't hurt, and it definitely drives the first engagement. Segmenting your list by certain data helps you personalize. So maybe you're targeting people in the US with an offer that's completely different than people in the UK. That's where segmentation takes part. And you can pretty much tailor your content inside your email, which we have something called smart dynamic segmentation. But we use it to tailor the same email to different people and have different content in it according to their life cycle. If this is too complicated, we'll cover it in a different topic. So this is a quick stats. Marketers who use list segmentation, 39% of them see greater open rate, 28% see less opt-out and unsubscribes. If you're sending to a blind list the same content every single time, you might probably see a higher unsubscribe rate. And we see our users who use segmentation, they get much less opt-outs or complaints. 24% see better email deliverability and increased sales lead overall. So if you're targeting the people at the time that they really need your product and knowing that through automation, through background progressive profiling, which we provide, for instance, through Vbout, will help you sell more. That's pretty much the bottom line. So there's different characteristics that you can segment your list on, whether it is geolocation, level of interest, actions they've taken in the past. For instance, they opened an email in the past or not, clicked on a link or not, visited particular pages on your website, also demographics, age, education, and so on. So these are some of the examples of things you can target, and obviously each business might have different level of segmentations. In our case, we have our webinar attendees, which we love. We have our current customers, which we target with different messaging, people who just want to get our product updates. So all these different lists get different messages at all given times. This is a quick example of our audience builder, where we can, for example, create an email list of people who didn't open an email and came from New York. And we can target these people by different messaging. Then we targeted those who actually opened an email already. All right, so let's jump into mobile. So mobile is essential. Everybody knows it. Most people are on their mobile devices, and I think probably 80% of the human population are going to have a smartphone by 2020. Knowing that, that means people are going to be using wireless. They're going to be checking their emails via the phone. They're going to be on social media via their phone. And they're going to be following and taking a lot of actions like purchases, signups, and so on via their phone as well. Knowing that, you definitely should optimize all your content to be mobile responsive. So if we're talking about email campaigns, your email should be built for responsive devices. If you're talking about your landing pages also should be built for responsiveness to accommodate the device people are looking through. Your website, that's a no-brainer. You can actually get penalized if your website is not responsive. Search engines can detect your website structure, and if people are searching from mobile, they will prefer websites that are optimized over yours. So definitely you should work on your mobile responsiveness. And testing your load time on mobile and things like that, different devices. Every single browser have the capability for you to do that testing. It's an inspect element part. If it's too technical, just search on Google mobile responsive testing Chrome, and you'll find how to do it. Now, apps is another thing that people are really experimenting in, not only to provide an additional outlet for your users to use your product if you have an online product, but also to get visibility online. So because search engines are saturated, it's an old game. Using an app inside an app store to be found through search results is a new way that people are following. So this is why some companies, they build 5, 6, 7 apps, they throw it in an app store, and they return it as a result to drive engagement to their brand, to drive more purchases and so on. And some of them don't really have a powerful product. It could be an introductory product. It could be something just an entry level to their product or whatever. So consider building an app. Of course, it's an investment. Not everybody can do it, depending on your business, etc. But it's one of the marketing that big companies are focusing on. SEO. So if you're not familiar with search engine optimization, it's one of those, for me, I think it's one of those mysterious fields that you have a mix between shady practices and good practices. Unfortunately, shady practices or black hat SEO can get you penalized, and the white hat SEO can be good today but might change tomorrow. The fact that Google changed their rules on a regular basis, changed their ranking and their the panda updates or whatever they call it on a regular basis, make it very tricky for you to be ranked highly in the search engines. But the main things you need to focus on is optimizing your content on your website. So you should definitely have keywords that are related to your target audience, to your product. Don't use things repetitively. So having, for instance, the same keyword 15,000 times on the page doesn't help. It hurts. Also using Google Trends to see what people are looking for, or even Google AdWords. You can have a lookup on the keywords to see what people are searching, what keywords have your competition are going after, and so on. Could help you determine the things to use on your site. So that's from the keyword perspective, having every page on your site have the proper title, have the proper description, using the right keywords, having the load time on the page be fast enough, not loaded with a million JavaScripts that slows down the website. Having your tags, which are, for instance, when you come to the page, you see an items in bold, large letters, then you see smaller items, then you see the smaller items on the bottom. There's actual hierarchy through which Google or the search engines go through. So they call these H1, H2, H3 tags, etc. So knowing what to name or what to call H1, what to call H2 can also help you with your search engine, let's call it best practices. Now, if you're creating content on your blog, this content probably have a lot, needs time to gain asset in search engines. Typically, we've seen 6 months is a good time for a blog to start gaining visibility through random searches and things. And of course, it depends if you have a competitive market or not. But give it some time. So if you create a blog content, you're doing your distribution right, but your organic reach not too far, you have to wait a little bit. Eventually, you will see results coming in. If you can get link backs, that's even better. So, certain channels and certain websites allow you to embed their blog posts and allow you to embed their infographics on your site. Being able to share your content somewhere else, these backlinks are super valuable if they're done properly by the user. And Google can detect these days if you have these websites that have formed links, and you have your link there, you can get penalized. So definitely work on your link backs that are organic and hosted on relevant websites. Paid ads, we're coming to the end almost of the webinar. So paid ads is pretty much, and as I define it, is getting paid to get views or getting paid to get clicks. That's all what paid ads does, right? So if you're using Google AdWords, you're paying for click or for impression, then obviously that's the entry level. They don't give you a lot of flexibility to tell people a lot about your service, right? So you have 2 lines and a title. That's all you get. So you have to maximize your budget and get people from that link to a landing page that discuss in depth what you're doing. The page should be optimized, and then from there try to collect the lead. So that's what the click and the visibility starts. If you're doing your paid ads on social media, so paid social ads, now obviously this will get you visibility and will boost your posts to be seen by more friends or random people. Some of those boosted ads you pay for might not even be true. I don't know. Sometimes we get people liking our posts that are completely irrelevant from a different market. We don't think they're interested. But however, that engagement somehow drives traffic to us. We cannot disqualify, for instance, if we got 20 likes that are irrelevant to us from those other 20 visits we got, we cannot determine that these are not relevant. Ultimately, the paid search is not going to be driving traffic and eventually driving conversion. So again, paid ads, you're paying channels to get you visibility or clicks. That's exactly where it starts. And these are the sponsored links you might see on Google results, on the right side of your Facebook page, etc. So, there's many channels that gives you paid ads opportunities. Started with Google, and then it branched out to social media, and now you have other sites like Quora, and I think Quora provide boosted questions, but also you have Reddit. You can sponsor, for instance, a thread. So a lot of these sites that are highly trafficked are trying to leverage sponsored ads or paid ads to push you up in the ranking. So obviously your ads can be good content, your ad can be direct offer, your ad can be just an entry level to a funnel, depending on the channel you're publicizing on. So for instance, if you're doing a paid ad on Reddit, probably if it's an offer saying, hey, buy this product for 50% off, you're not going to get enough conversion from that. You're going to waste your money. But on Google, that's probably a more direct search that you can use. So again, to summarize paid ads, figure out the channels you're going to be using, figure out your budget because you can spend a fortune on this and not get results. Optimize and use proper keywords that are not too competitive, so you don't have to pay $20 or $30 per click. And obviously, testing, analyzing results at the end are definitely good with A/B testing and so on. So now video marketing, and then we go analytics, and we get into the Q&As. For video marketing, everybody knows it. The consumption of video is, beyond anything that anybody expected. So by 2018, 69% of total internet traffic will be from video. 48 hours of video are being uploaded to YouTube every minute. That's only YouTube, and you have a lot more channels. So now Facebook is competing on so I think it's even surpassed YouTube. Vimeo and other channels. So trying to get and play around and test with your video marketing strategy is good. It's definitely, it takes a little bit of resources, whether it's your time, whether it's your planning or testing. But it's a good channel for you to get into now. And you're probably late if you haven't. For instance, we do our tutorials online, we do our webinars online, and we do get clicks, whether it's 10 or 20 or 50 clicks per webinar. That's good. So the more assets you build with your video, if you have 100 videos online, each one of those get you 10 clicks per month. That's an additional 1,000 clicks per month, right? And I'm just giving you low numbers here. This could be much better if you can create viral videos, very meaningful videos, increase your subscribers, and so on. And not to mention on your phone, the most consumed items are video. So people go through their Facebook and they look at videos, whether it's silent before they start playing it or not. So all this stuff translates into video marketing is a must for your next digital marketing plan. Some of the tips that we can share with you is create short videos. Nobody want to watch 10-minute intro to your product or service. Videos should have an emotional effect to it, so you can kind of get their interest in the beginning, touch on their emotional aspect, and at the end hook them into your product or your service that you're trying to sell, if that's what you're doing. Obviously, if it's an educational content, it's completely separate. It needs to be engaging and fun, interesting enough to keep them throughout the whole content. And try to provide shares for your videos. So the more people share your video, the more likely you will increase your views, which is normal for everything else as well. All right, the last part of this is analytics. So given that you've implemented all these different things, you've done your budgeting, and you need to track it, you implemented SEO, PPC, landing pages, analytics could be extremely overwhelming, but it shouldn't be this daunting task that you don't know how to manage. It should be clear numbers in front of you. You need to focus on the things that tell you the ultimate results. How many conversions you've gotten, how many visits you've increased, how many are those organic, what channels are getting you those traffic, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or whether it's your paid search and so on. So setting up what you want to track, which I repeat are visits, conversion, source, traffic source, and probably you can set up others depending on your business, will allow you to look at data much simpler. Now, if you're talking about your email campaigns, you should be able to look at your email campaigns clearly and define, for instance, how many clicks, open, and conversions you've gotten. All this will help you determine your ROI. If you're spending $1,000 a month on ads and email and social media and all that, and you're only selling $50 now, and 6 months later you're still selling $50, then obviously there's something wrong. And don't kill yourself. You always can fine-tune it and get better at it. This is why metrics are there for you. A/B testing is part of the process. So being able to A/B test your emails, A/B test your landing pages, A/B test your pop-ups, A/B test your ads, all this stuff is critical for you to kind of deliver the best message to your end consumer. And if you don't know what A/B testing is, it's pretty much creating two variations of your content. The one that works better is the one that stays. That's in a nutshell what it is, in the non-technical way of explaining it. We do offer a lot of A/B testing on Vbout, so between email and pop-ups and landing pages, that's available to you. But any tool you use, first thing you should look at if they provide A/B testing. And these are the success metrics that I already spoke about. So the acquisition channels, paid search, traffic, open rates, visits, and so on. This is a quick one. This is an organic search metric, for instance. It tells you these are some of the blogs, blog posts, for instance, or landing pages we have. This gives you the session, how many visits came in from where. I think this was a daily report. How many new sessions versus new users. This is their behavior, so what is their bounce rate? For instance, when they come into this page, what is the bounce rate from there? If they're coming from the main page, the bounce rate is 42, and how we can increase it, for instance. So these are some things that you can look at when you're looking at your results. And if you don't know how to read this data, you should definitely do a quick search on Google and search analytics. They have a lot of tutorials on that. And I think we're going to be doing one session on analytics. We'll be talking about all these different metrics. This one is for social media, so you can, for instance, see Facebook gives us a lot of traffic versus Twitter and LinkedIn. However, if we look at our average spend, people coming in from LinkedIn spend the most time on our channels because, we're targeting professionals. Our content is mainly tailored for professionals. So you can see here 4 minutes average spend from people coming from LinkedIn, for example. And this is the type of data that you can look at when you're measuring your success. All right, so with that, with 3 minutes over 3, I think I went a little bit over. Our next session is going to be on successful social media strategies on June 22nd, 2 p.m. We'll be sending an invite for that, so hopefully you can join us. And again, follow us on our blog. You can opt in on Facebook, on Twitter, and we'll be sharing these slides after the webinar, maybe end of today or tomorrow, and we're sharing it with you. So with that, we'll take the floor for some questions. Does anybody have any questions, by the way?